Is there a parasite controlling your thoughts? This question might sound like the plot of a science fiction movie, but it's a topic that has intrigued scientists and philosophers alike for years. The idea that an external entity could influence our most personal and private thoughts is both fascinating and terrifying. Are your actions truly your own, or could there be unseen forces at play, subtly guiding your decisions and behaviors? This concept challenges our very understanding of free will and autonomy. The concept of the brainworm might seem like something out of science fiction, a fantastical idea that belongs in the pages of a novel or the scenes of a futuristic film. Yet the notion has captured the imagination of many, leading to a blend of scientific inquiry and speculative fiction. But it has sparked intense debate and speculation. Scholars and scientists have gathered in conferences and panel discussions, passionately debating the plausibility and implications of such an idea. The term itself evokes images of insidious creatures burrowing into our brains, taking control of our thoughts and manipulating our behavior. It's a chilling image, one that taps into deep-seated fears about losing control over our own minds, hijacking our thoughts and manipulating our behavior. Imagine a scenario where your actions are no longer your own, where every decision you make is influenced by an unseen force. It's a concept that raises profound ethical and philosophical questions, but is this just a figment of our imaginations, a product of our creative minds seeking to explain the inexplicable? Or is there something more to this unsettling idea, something rooted in scientific reality? Or is there something more to this unsettling idea? Scientists have long pondered the mysteries of the human brain, seeking to understand its complexities and the factors that influence its functioning. The recent controversy surrounding Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his use of the term brainworm has brought this intriguing concept into the spotlight. His statements have reignited interest in the idea, prompting both public curiosity and scientific scrutiny. Kennedy's pronouncements, often deemed controversial, have ignited a firestorm of debate, with some viewing his ideas as groundbreaking, while others dismiss them as fear-mongering. The polarized reactions highlight the contentious nature of this topic, with some accusing him of spreading misinformation and fear. Social media has become a battleground for these debates, with passionate arguments on both sides. The spread of information and misinformation has only added to the complexity of the discussion. But beyond the political rhetoric lies a fascinating question. What if there's a kernel of truth to the idea of brainworms? Could there be a scientific basis for this concept, a way to understand how external factors might influence our thoughts and behaviors? What if there's a kernel of truth to the idea of brainworms, a metaphorical representation of the ways our minds can be influenced and manipulated? This idea opens up a broader discussion about the nature of influence and control, a metaphorical representation of the ways our minds can be influenced and manipulated. From advertising to social media, our thoughts and behaviors are constantly being shaped by external forces. The brainworm in this sense could be seen as a symbol of these influences. This essay delves into the captivating world of brainworms, exploring their origins, their potential neurological basis, and their implications for how we understand the human mind. By examining this concept, we can gain insights into the broader question of how our minds are shaped, exploring their origins, their potential neurological basis, and their implications for how we understand the human mind. The history of brainworm theories is rich and varied, with roots in both ancient mythology and modern neuroscience, and their implications for how we understand the human mind. By studying the brain's activity and the factors that influence it, scientists hope to uncover the truth behind this intriguing concept. We'll journey from the realms of science fiction to the cutting edge of neuroscience, examining the fascinating ways in which our thoughts and behaviors can be shaped by both internal and external forces. This journey will take us through the latest research and theories, shedding light on the mysteries of the human mind, examining the fascinating ways in which our thoughts and behaviors can be shaped by both internal and external forces. From the neural pathways that govern our thoughts to the external stimuli that influence our decisions, the brain is a complex and dynamic organ. Join me as we unravel the mystery of the brainworm, separating fact from fiction and exploring the profound implications of this thought-provoking concept. Together, we'll seek to understand the true nature of influence and control, and what it means for our understanding of the human mind, and exploring the profound implications of this thought-provoking concept. The journey promises to be enlightening, challenging our preconceptions and expanding our understanding of the mind's complexities. So, let's dive in and explore the world of brainworms, where science meets speculation and reality blurs with fiction. The idea of brainworms invading and controlling our minds has long captivated our imaginations. This concept, though seemingly far-fetched, taps into a deep-seated fear of losing control over our own thoughts and actions. It's a fear that has been explored in various forms of media for decades. From the pages of science fiction novels to the silver screen, the notion of an external force manipulating our minds has been a recurring theme. These stories often serve as a mirror, reflecting our anxieties about the unknown and the unseen. We've been both horrified and intrigued by the possibility of our thoughts and actions being hijacked by external forces. This duality of fear and fascination is what makes the concept so compelling. It challenges our understanding of free will and autonomy. But how did this concept, once relegated to the realm of fantasy, make its way into our everyday lexicon? The journey of the brainworm, from fiction to reality, is a fascinating one, marked by cultural shifts and technological advancements. The origins of the brainworm can be traced back to early science fiction, where parasitic creatures capable of manipulating human behavior were a staple trope. These early stories laid the groundwork for the more sophisticated narratives that would follow. In these tales, parasitic creatures often represented our deepest fears about invasion and loss of control. They were metaphors for the unknown threats lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce on unsuspecting victims. These stories often explored the fear of losing control, of our minds being hijacked by forces beyond our comprehension. This fear is universal, transcending cultures and time periods. The idea of mind control, whether through parasitic creatures or other means, taps into a primal fear that we are not truly masters of our own destinies. It raises questions about the nature of consciousness and the limits of human autonomy. Over time, the concept of the brainworm seeped into popular culture, becoming a shorthand for any idea or belief that seemed to take root in our minds and exert an unshakable influence. This evolution reflects our growing awareness of the ways in which our thoughts can be manipulated. The brainworm became a metaphor for the insidious ways in which ideas can infiltrate our minds and take hold, often without our conscious awareness. It's a powerful image that resonates with our experiences of being influenced by external forces. Movies like The Puppet Masters and Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, depicted alien parasites taking over human hosts, their victims transformed into mindless drones. These films brought the concept of the brainworm to a wider audience, embedding it in the cultural consciousness. The chilling portrayals of mind control in these movies tapped into our primal fear of losing our autonomy, of becoming puppets controlled by unseen forces. They highlighted the fragility of the human mind and the ease with which it can be manipulated. These chilling portrayals tapped into our primal fear of losing our autonomy, of becoming puppets controlled by unseen forces. The idea that our thoughts and actions could be dictated by an external entity is a terrifying one. The fear of becoming a puppet, with our strings being pulled by an unseen hand, is a powerful one. It speaks to our deepest anxieties about control and autonomy. Today, the term brainworm has transcended its science fiction roots, becoming a metaphor for the insidious ways in which misinformation, propaganda, and even our own biases can shape our thoughts and behaviors. In the age of information, the brainworm has taken on new forms. The modern brainworm is not a parasitic creature, but rather the constant stream of information that bombards us daily. It's the subtle ways in which our thoughts are shaped by the media we consume and the narratives we are exposed to. It's a testament to the power of stories to not only entertain, but also to shape our understanding of the world around us. The brainworm, in its many forms, reminds us of the influence that stories and ideas can have on our minds. As we navigate the complexities of the modern world, it's important to remain aware of the brainworms that may be influencing our thoughts and actions. By understanding their origins and recognizing their presence, we can better guard against their insidious effects. In a world where information is constantly at our fingertips, taking the time to reflect and critically evaluate the ideas we encounter is more important than ever. By doing so, we can reclaim control over our own minds and ensure that our thoughts are truly our own. The evolution of the brainworm from a science fiction trope to a modern metaphor highlights the enduring power of stories and ideas. It reminds us that while our minds are vulnerable to external influences, we also have the power to shape our own narratives. By staying vigilant and critically engaging with the information we consume, we can protect ourselves from the brainworms that seek to control us. In doing so, we can preserve our autonomy and ensure that our thoughts and actions are truly our own. The journey of the brainworm is a reminder of the importance of maintaining control over our own minds. As we move forward, let us remain mindful of the stories we tell ourselves and the ideas we allow to take root in our minds. In the end, the evolution of the brainworm is a testament to the resilience of the human mind. Despite the many forces that seek to influence us, we have the power to shape our own destinies and create our own narratives. So let us embrace the power of our own minds and remain vigilant against the brainworms that seek to control us. By doing so, we can ensure that our thoughts and actions are truly our own, and that we remain the masters of our own destinies. While the idea of a physical creature burrowing into our brains might seem far-fetched, the concept itself isn't entirely without merit when we consider the complexities of our neurological systems. There's no denying that our brains are incredibly complex and susceptible to influence. The human brain, with its billions of neurons and trillions of connections, is a marvel of biological engineering. Neuroscience offers a fascinating perspective on how our brains form thoughts, process information, and store memories. Each thought we have, each piece of information we process, is the result of intricate neural activities. These activities ultimately shape our behavior, influencing everything from our daily habits to our deepest beliefs. Could there be a neurological basis for the metaphorical brainworm? This question leads us to explore the depths of our cognitive processes. One intriguing theory is the concept of neuropathway hijack. This theory suggests that certain patterns of thought can dominate our neural pathways. Our brains are constantly forming new connections, a process that is essential for learning and adaptation. Strengthening existing pathways based on our experiences and the information we're exposed to is a fundamental aspect of brain function. The more we are exposed to certain ideas or stimuli, the more deeply ingrained these neural pathways become. Repetitive exposure to certain ideas or stimuli can create deeply ingrained neural pathways, making it more likely for us to favor those thoughts and beliefs. This is why habits are so hard to break and why certain beliefs can become so entrenched, making it more likely for us to favor those thoughts and beliefs. This process, known as neuroplasticity, is a double-edged sword. This process, known as neuroplasticity, allows our brains to adapt and learn. It is the reason we can acquire new skills and knowledge throughout our lives. Neuroplasticity allows our brains to adapt and learn, but it also makes us vulnerable to manipulation. This adaptability means that our brains can be shaped by external influences, sometimes in ways that are not beneficial, but it also makes us vulnerable to manipulation. This is particularly concerning in an age where information, both accurate and misleading, is so readily available. Another compelling idea is the thought loop effect. This phenomenon occurs when a particular thought or belief becomes stuck in a repetitive cycle within our minds. Imagine a thought, a belief, or even a piece of misinformation getting stuck on repeat in your mind. This can happen more easily than we might think, especially with the constant bombardment of information we face daily. This continuous loop can strengthen the neural pathways associated with that thought, making it increasingly difficult to break free from its grasp. The more we think about something, the more entrenched it becomes in our neural architecture, making it increasingly difficult to break free from its grasp. This is why breaking a habit or changing a deeply held belief can be so challenging. The more we engage with a particular thought, the more ingrained it becomes. This is a natural process of the brain, but it can have significant implications for our mental health and well-being. The more ingrained it becomes, creating a self-reinforcing cycle that can be difficult to escape. This cycle can lead to obsessive thinking, anxiety, and other mental health issues, creating a self-reinforcing cycle that can be difficult to escape. Understanding these cycles is the first step in breaking free from them. These neurological processes, while not involving literal worms, demonstrate how our brains can become trapped in patterns of thinking that influence our perceptions, beliefs, and ultimately our actions. Recognizing these patterns can help us take control of our thoughts and behaviors. Demonstrate how our brains can become trapped in patterns of thinking that influence our perceptions, beliefs, and ultimately our actions. This understanding is crucial for anyone looking to improve their mental resilience and cognitive flexibility. Understanding these mechanisms is crucial for recognizing the subtle ways in which our minds can be influenced. By being aware of how our brains work, we can better guard against unwanted influences and take steps to foster healthier thought patterns, and for developing strategies to break free from limiting thought patterns. Techniques such as mindfulness, cognitive behavioral therapy, and other mental health practices can help us rewire our brains for better mental health and well-being.